Do I believe in ghosts? Yeah, I think that anything is possible. I mean, the there have been movies been based upon exactly that in real life, and so yeah, why not? Um, I've never actually had any experiences with ghosts, but I imagine that it could very well be possible. I think we definitely have souls. As a part of my Roman Catholic upbringing, as well as just in general, just I don't think that the body is just the end of it. I think that there is something more that um, we go to after we die. Um, Again, that's how I was brought up, but I believe that even if I wasn't. Do I believe in aliens? Well, to me, alien means one who is not legal. I prefer to call the beings that this refers to this question extraterrestrials, and I do believe in them. I have seen a large group at one point of white shimmering objects that kept changing formation, and they were making any kind of a sound, so they couldn't have been geese, which I believe, yes, if geese stay in a V formation anyway. I have also heard of numerous accounts, and the way I see it, why would God, the Creator, Allah, whatever you call in your specific faith, the ultimate being, center all life on just this one planet? It just doesn't seem to make sense to me that such would happen. Have I ever had any paranormal experiences? That's a good question. I once experienced deja vu in a dream, which I never would have imagined in a million years would be possible. I'm not sure if that counts as a paranormal experience or not, but that I think could be one. It was a very bizarre dream. I was underwater. I had a fin where my feet would be, as if I were like a merman or something, and I had met a mermaid, and I experienced deja vu, which is a feeling where one feels as if a moment has happened before. I never would have thought that would be possible in a dream. I also, at one point, when I was reading in bed before going to sleep, had this song that I had never heard stuck in my head. I believe it's called Sideshow. I only heard the chorus of it that was just repeating over and over in my head. I didn't hear the lyrics, but I heard the melody. The the chorus goes, so let the sound show begin. Harry, step right on in. Can't afford to pass it by. Guaranteed to make you cry. And I just heard that same melody, those same notes, over and over again in my mind. And next morning, that was the very song on the radio that woke me up. I think that might be an example of ESP, or extrasensory perception. So I suppose that could be considered a paranormal experience. It is occasionally difficult to convince others, but hey, that's up to them. I don't really care if they don't believe. I know what I have felt, and I'm sticking to it. Oh yes, I celebrate Halloween. I celebrate the crap out of Halloween. I have a few videos, if you'll forgive a shameless plugging, that I had done for Halloween that you can look up in my uploads. And I also don a robe and put on face paint, and I stand out in my front yard with skeletal gloves on my hands, and I call myself the guardian of the grounds. And that was in fact shown briefly in my final Halloween video. And it's always so much fun. I wait until the trick-or-treaters are within a few feet of me. I just stand completely still, and everyone, including the parents, thinks that I'm a statue. It's awesome. And I'm just like, enter, and watch them freak out. It's so much fun. And when they do, sometimes they'll say that they're too scared, and I'll try to, I will tell them there's nothing to be afraid of. That's why I call myself the guardian of the grounds. In that case, I tell them, you need not fear me, mortal ones. I mean you no harm. I am the guardian of the grounds. In my presence, none shall rise up from their graves to harm you. It's just so much fun. My favorite thing about it, well, I just described it, that as well as the various Halloween specials in terms of movies that are played by, such as the Rocky Horror Picture Show, Nightmare Before Christmas, which I consider to be the greatest cult movie of all time. I have a vast library of horror movies of my own that I watch in case they're not on TV, and it's just so much fun to do that. I often wonder why it is that people enjoy feeling scared, if you'll forgive my rambling a bit. It has been theorized that perhaps that is something that allows us to tap into our roots, and which our ancient ancestors may have felt fear on a constant basis, fear for their very existence. And I suppose that could be the case. I also wonder why it is that people enjoy feeling not so much of being scared, but feeling disturbed, uneasy, such as with the Hannibal Lecter movies and such. And that, I think, might also perhaps be something that harkens back to those times. The way I'm thinking maybe when fire was first discovered, how to make fire, if maybe there was a carving on a wall and perhaps a rock was struck with a bit too much force against a wall and it created a spark. I imagine that must have been a very disturbing, startling, uneasy feeling for whoever had done that. And which ties into my thoughts as to why we feel the need to immediately tell others of something that we find disturbing, or at least I do. I think that perhaps if that were the case, if that were what had initially created such a feeling, or whatever it had been that had initially created such a feeling, that the cave dweller in question immediately had sought out the nearest other to tell them of that, so as to share that feeling, or simply to try to figure out what it was, or something along those lines. That's just my feeling. Feel free to comment upon that. I welcome any any thoughts as to what you have as to why we enjoy feelings of fear and or disturbance. Again, please excuse the ramble. It's something I've always found fascinating. A favorite paranormal TV show or movie? Well, as I said, The Nightmare Before Christmas is, as I see it, the greatest cult movie of all time. It's not really, well, it is paranormal, but it's a thing that is very much, you can easily tell that it's not actually real. And so, The Shining is a really good one. That is a very disturbing flick, especially because, as I said, there has been the proof that things such as ghosts and possessions are possible. I also enjoy the Pit and the Pendulum. I'm not sure if that would be considered paranormal or not, but it is my personal favorite of Vincent Price's works, both because of the acting in it, especially from Price himself, whom I consider to be the all-time greatest horror actor, and the fact that it was based off of an Edgar Allan Poe tale. And I found the entire thing to be masterful. I fear nothing. I'm an American. In God we trust. Therefore I have no need for fear. Have I ever used a Ouija board? No, I have never used a Ouija board. I suppose maybe I would. I really don't even know all that much about such, so I wouldn't know how to do so. So I really couldn't answer that one way or the other definitively. Any paranormal dreams? Well, as I said earlier about the deja vu in dream, I'm not sure if that's considered paranormal or not. That would probably be the ultimate extent, though, of any such thing in terms of paranormal dreams that I have had. I don't know anyone personally. I do know some people on YouTube and on Facebook. The awesome Sarah LaBreed, for instance. You should look up her channel. She is a psychic and deals with the paranormal, as well as an ASMRist. And so I think that she probably could qualify as someone I sort of know. Also, Haley Lynn, who is a friend of mine on Facebook, and also, in my personal opinion, has a great deal of potential for ASMR. She has 2 videos that I think had been very triggering. One for relaxation hypnosis and one called Thoughts Washed Away. I suggest you check both of them out, and I also know her on Facebook, and she is a pagan, and so she knows a few what would be considered paranormal, I suppose, types of things. Are there any places that I find scary? Well, again, I don't fear anything, being an American. As for places I find paranormal, I would say that there could be any number of places. There is this place that I had helped to rebuild with my fellow Boy Scouts. At one point, it was a state hospital, and who knows what could have happened there. I had found an old mason jar just a little bit away from the place. Also, this was epic. At one of the campsites in which one of the Jason movies had been filmed, directly in front of one of the cabins, I had found a vertebral bone. Now I'm aware that it was probably an animal bone and it was probably planted there, but it was still just an awesome thing to find. So, yeah, I suppose that could be considered paranormal to an extent. And so, anyone who has any experiences with this, please feel free to make your own videos. And fairly well.